What is it you want to write? Don't answer. This is a video, I can't hear you. Also, it doesn't matter, because this video is not about what you want to write, it's tips to help how you write. Okay, my first tip is about something that people don't think about as part of the writing process, but it is. Confidence. Because most people, especially struggling artists, tend to get this backwards. They think success will give you confidence. But a seemingly endless number of successful people, including Bill Hader, Hugh Grant, Bo Burnham, Simone Biles, and Naomi Osaka, have all spoken openly about facing a crisis of confidence after they became successful, and how actually success brought them an additional sense of paralyzing pressure and fear. The truth is, mostly, confidence is something you bring to the work, not something you get from it. When you serve a tennis ball, or apply paint to a canvas, or write a sentence, you are taking a risk, a leap into the unknown. And that requires a kind of bizarre faith, a feeling, possibly delusional, that this thing is gonna work out okay. So how do you get that? You can't talk yourself into it, or force yourself to feel it. Some people seem to be simply and often incorrectly just born with it. But most of us have to build it with experience, which makes sense if you think of confidence as confidence is really just not being afraid. The fact is, your confidence or lack thereof seems to have very little to do with how good or bad you actually are. Whatever the hell those words even mean. Some of it may just be brain chemistry. You may just have too much of that stuff that makes you fight, flight, or freeze. So the good news about confidence is, A, it's not a reliable sign of anything, and B, it is something you can build up by doing these 4 things. Practice, get experience, focus on the work, and focus on the fun. And those are all things you can actually do. So let's look at them one by one. Practice. You do complex things every day that require a lot of confidence. But you don't realize it because you don't remember how hard it was to learn how to walk or talk. You got to this level of skill by practicing. An athlete or a musician is expected to practice until they can do their thing without even thinking. A writer really should be trying to get to that same level, and not just by practicing. You can't study experience, you have to experience it. That's the only way to learn how to deal with unexpected realities. And it's best not to do that when the stakes are high. If you were playing a sport, you wouldn't start with the championship, you'd start with some dinky local matches. So, get low stakes, small time experience. So write some things just because you know you can get them done. Do some web shorts or some local theater or your high school literary magazine, or put on a play in your backyard. A lot of what you'll do will fail. That's how you learn. You cannot avoid or skip the parts where you fail, but it won't bother you if you focus on the work, on the craft, the qualities of the work itself. Confidence goes kablooey when you think about things outside the work, when you think about some contest or competitor or judge. Those things actually have nothing to do with you. They are not in the work, so why are you working on them? Instead, focus on the fun. What parts of it are fun to do? The artist's joy is part of how they make something great. Creative joy comes from solving problems, making progress, making discoveries, and just creating stuff. And there's one last trick I want to share about confidence, and it's a really important one. Act as if you have faith, and you will be given faith. Also known as fake it till you make it. Do the thing you want to do, even though you don't believe you can. Do it badly. Do it the best you can, because this is the real secret about creative confidence. The best kind of confidence is not being sure you will win, It's not really caring if you win or lose, because you like doing the thing. Win or lose, you're playing the game, and it won't kill you, and you'll play again, because that's who you are, and that's what you do. Okay, tip number 2 is not for everyone and not for all the time, but it can be a really useful tool when you are jammed up or frustrated or uninspired. You don't have to write your script in order from beginning to end. There are many good reasons to start on page 1 and work your way through to the end. In theory, it puts you on the same journey as the audience, and if it works, great. Always do what works. But here's the thing, you are not actually on the same journey as the audience. You are wandering into places that do not yet exist. You are building the roller coaster tracks that they will ride on. Usually the best way to build a roller coaster is not to be on the tracks. Often writers really struggle with the beginning of a script, and then eventually you get something right and you go, ah. You discover the voice of the project, and everything gets a little bit easier. But who said that has to be done in the first pages? There are going to be some scenes that are just begging to be written. They're just cool, or they're a challenge, a puzzle. How are you going to make that work? Or they're the stylistic or thematic heart of the project. Or maybe they're just the easy scenes. Why not jump into those? Sometimes when you get stuck, grinding isn't the only solution. This works best if you have an outline. I urge you to make an outline. I did 2 videos on how to make an outline. Please check them out if you're anti-outline or outline challenged or outline intolerant. And don't worry, just because you write some of it out of order doesn't mean you'll never go through the whole thing from start to finish. At some point, you do have to go back and work your way through. But how cool when you do that to find you have some bits and scenes already staked out. It's like you're going on a long journey, but you went ahead and set up some campsites and left some supplies along the way. Also, just personally, for me, I tend to overwrite the beginning, and when I get to the end, I'm rushing. So having worked a little on the end early on really helps. Anyway, like I said, if everything's going great, don't even worry about this. But if it's not, what have you got to lose? Try it. And tip number 3 seems obvious, but strangely, we all need to be reminded sometimes. Get a life. Most people in the arts secretly believe that their art will solve their personal problems. It won't. When you put your life on hold for your work, or you think your work is going to solve all your life's problems, and then somebody says something like, "I'm not thrilled with the end of the second act," you literally feel like someone is trying to kill you, and you lash out or break down or run away. Dude, it's just a note on a script. I am speaking from personal experience when I say if you are angry or frightened or desperate, you make bad artistic choices. If you don't feel like your happiness entirely depends on artistic success, whatever that even means, you can be much more creative. Many of the things that make people into artists are also emotional problems. Hunger for connection, deep sensitivity, desire for control. Certainly you should put them into your art, but don't ask your art to solve them. Build a writing process that you can do while you have a job. Be healthy, take care of yourself, and don't be an asshole. Your art will thank you by getting a whole lot better when it doesn't have to pay your rent and fix your relationships. Everyone's version of this is going to be different. You know you. This is just something to think about. All right, I think that's a lot for now, so take a nice deep breath and then go write something. If you like this video, like this video and subscribe to this channel. Leave me comments, ask me questions in the comment section of this video, or go to writingforscreens.com. Even though you beginning because I don't know what it is today. There's like so many noise. So many noise. We have a cat here. We have a cat situation. Yes, yes, this is Sammy. This is Sammy. It's over there. Yes, he looks like an Ewok. Put on a show in your guitar. Guitar. Garage. Oops.